All right, so I have another video, another quick one. This one today is going to be about the estrous cycle. So when you're talking about the estrous cycle, not the estrous stage, it's OU for the cycle, right? And then just a U for estrous. So this is already written out for you guys, okay? And I've brought the camera a lot closer. Let me know if this is good. If this is bad, let me know if it's bad. Also lighting, let me know about that. But we're gonna hop right into it. So we're gonna talk about three different things. One's going to be the phases, which I have up here. We have the follicular and luteal phase. We have the hormones that are generally associated with this specific diagram. I'm not gonna get into the specifics, just what they are doing during the different phases. And then we have these different stages, if you will, and then including ovulation. So finally, we also have these days. And so this is based off of bovine cattle. I'm in cattle country. This is how we learn. So if you're somewhere else learning it differently, then I don't know what to tell you. So we're gonna start here with these phases. Follicular phase is that growth of the follicle right up to ovulation, okay? So following that, we have the luteal phase, and that portion is medestrous and then diestrous, okay? So that's where those fall, right? We're just here to give this overview, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail about everything that happens within each of those. So the next thing that we have are those stages, right? So during proestrus, that's when we see a rise and a fall in two different hormones. You have the fall of progesterone, right, which is like that pro-pregnancy, and then you have the rise of estrogen. I know I'm off in the corner here, so I don't know how well you can see that, but estrogen is rising, progesterone is dropping, okay? We see it ending right here about day zero, prior to day zero, because what you have is the estrous stage here that I have in red happening in basically a 24-hour period in cattle, and then a 12-hour period of ovulation. So that's a real steep difference here. We see that the rise of estrogen is peaking here right at ovulation or before ovulation, and then progesterone at its all-time low. And the reason being, we're attempting to get pregnant at this point, so the cattle does not produce the progesterone or pro-pregnancy hormone, and estrogen's through the roof, and this is causing them to go into heat. Following that, we have medestrous. So in this phase, we see the drop of estrogen and a rise in the progesterone, right? So that pro-pregnancy, progestation hormone, this is the growth of that embryo, and right into diestrous. So assuming it doesn't happen, right, you'll see that I have this whole portion over here pretty blank. It's because this is just the repeat. This is just what happens right after. So it just happens the same way again, starting over here at proestrus whenever there is no fetus, right? When the cattle are not pregnant, it just starts back over. One thing I forgot to point out here is that you see it kind of peaking here, and this is just a generalization, okay? So it is a little different, but it does peak within diestrus. This hormone here, the progesterone, will peak in diestrus, and you see it rising in medestrus and then going through here. I'm sorry about these shadows. I have no idea how to do this lighting. Also, you see that drop in estrogen. Well, it's going to stay low until the cycle starts over. So, coming into the day portion now, roughly 3 days is when we're having the proestrus portion of this cycle, okay? And that's, the follicular phase, the development of the follicle. And then as it's maturing, we see that we're going into estrus. Estrus is very short, like I said before. It's roughly about 24 hours. It's like day 0 to day 1, essentially, right? and then you have that 12-hour period right after estrus, the stage, not the cycle, where ovulation occurs. And at that time, it's, roughly day 1, like I said before. So going into med-estrus, it goes up until about day 5, so it's roughly 6 days, switching over into diestrus. This is the longest portion. This is like a development phase, so like it'll go on if it's a pregnancy. If that's not the case, then this is when things start over, right? This phase is roughly around, like I said, like day 5 to 6, over here to day 18, okay? And so what you see is it starting over is also a part of like this 21-ish day cycle in cattle. Day 18 to essentially day 21 is when we start to see that start over on proestrus, okay? So once again, day 21, day 0, we're talking about the same thing here. So that is all of those 3 different things, right? We have the phases, we have the stages, right? Proestrus, estrus, medestrus, diestrus, in order. We have the days, and then these like main hormone portions. There are a couple of other things that are happening, right? You have LH and FSH acting, but this is a general overview. So if this was helpful in any capacity, let me know. If this was not helpful in any capacity, let me know louder than that it was helpful, so that I can actually adjust and make better videos that are going to point to what you're trying to learn, okay? So last thing I'd just like to say is this is the Ag Peer channel, so I'm just a student who's learning, and I think that this kind of information just needs to be out on YouTube, plain and clear. Even if it's little stuff, it's like you just have to cram in a few videos, or you're trying to study, you're wore out, and you just need to watch something. Like this is what I'm trying to make for you guys. So let me know if that actually applies to you, and if this is helpful. So like and subscribe, and I'll keep pumping these out as best I can. And if you throw it in the comments and it's something I haven't specifically studied, I'll find someone else who has studied it, and we can get that going. So like I said, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.